record. Your screen is okay. Okay. Karo teres bismillah.
Bismillah.
Okay. Katana per list kachasim. Anyone list participants. Okay. So Ethan. ये था योर कुन आज छा कशर पट करन कि आज छ परि मै करन
Kariwas कॉस्टलियस
ठीक छ मन कोशा कशर रोजा बेटर वन टंग फारसी गुमत छ ओके यो समय नेचुरली ये त तमी सित करो पतम लाइट कर अस कत सीवी कित कन छ बनाउन ठीक छ तो आज करो अस इंशाल्लाह कत मुख्तसर नै कत application process kit kan karo theek cha so this whole story is about the application process so it's in continuation from the previous meeting that we had patmila ye kath karis she pakna was broad kon is tach silsilas mans yath mans chu byak ak sub topic is tulan so sub topic yath mans kya so go ye ke email etiquettes kit kanch because somehow during all this process type your email shemail yakni lakin professors ya recruitment is handle as kara university ya research lab ye to apply karan chu theek cha to tat zimnas mans chu tahe email etiquettes to there is a resource that is already shared on group ki email etiquettes ya mas mention kari chu कि ईमेल कित कन गस पोटेंशियल सुपरवाइजरस करन पोटेंशियल लैब करन पोटेंशियल प्रोफेसरस करन सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ यमिस तो डायरेक्ट करन व्हाट्स राइट टाइम टू डू इट क्या करन छु कित कन छु करन तत कित कन गस वर्डिंग आसन क्या क्या गस आसन there is already a resource shared on the group and ये document कर ब पोतुस share इस बुताय से discuss कर इस की at meeting मस आत मस तिश में तिम link थाई मस for example email कित कन गस करन so how do you send the emails tim link shme yath mas share karun ta sample chu yath mas share karun this document is not ready yet so I will just go briefly through this document ishme khatra winken guideline me common top can factor kath karan theek hai this document will be put online again so you don't need to write anything or copy anything and hopefully the recording will be put online as well so gwadnik कोई idea च application की के ताशो अक system develop करन by system I mean कि ताशो अक process बनाउन अक systematic way पानस निश अक थाउन used to use करियो application इछु नी कि notification वुशो तास Kashmir Guidance group as पर या बे कुन जाय ABCD तो वल सब कर apply no ताशो पन mindset बनाउन कि ना गॉडनिक चीज mindset बनाउन ना मे apply करन मे नेबर नेर या कुन ते जाय करन so you have to kind of keep that as a goal as an objective for yourself number so yel to objective वन बनो मे apply करन that means you will look out for all the positions that get posted so as a multiple forum probably subscribe करमुत यिम तो relevant position आसे तो तिहुन list बनाउन पानस ठीक है या इगो अख तरीक अख छ वनान pull type notification that means you have subscribed to multiple channels Kashmir Guidance ABCD JK Scientist kim channels छ तिमन पट येल तो notification तो relevant आसे you kind of that notification is basically pushed to you from us and then you get to know that I'm तरीके मिलना होता है वारिया कम notification दयम तरीक छ pull type notification you as a person when you go and you are interested in finding out you are interested and you have decided कि नशे में चुमने apply करने कारण you go and you figure out which are the places that you could work at कम university च कम lab च कम professor च research institutions च Europe particularly outside of the university च आसा for example they have collaboration with universities but they are outside of the universities for example Max Planck Indria CNRS there is software competency center in Austria Simula lab in Norway these are like independent research institutions where you could do research in different domains there are many such examples in university particularly kya So you have to kind of figure out which are the places that you should target. University should target current, research lab should target current. ठीक है? Cum country should target current. Based on the country just to select करियो, requirement may change. General requirement. For example, if you are targeting US, Canada, there may be a requirement for GRE, TOEFL, so on and so forth. So by that, by the full type of notifications, I mean that you will keep a list. You will make the list for yourself. ताकि पांच निश list पाने बनाऊं कि बकार ये यमन position पे apply. ठीक है? So I will share the different sheet now. ताकि ये Excel sheet ये वहाँ आके.
Honest.
Okay. So this Excel, you will maintain an Excel sheet like this. This sheet will be shared with you. This is an example process basically. You could make your own process. This is what I mean by this system. So you position and apply you list that under the application positions column. Notification you put them in this list. For example, you are a student of a computer science domain, chemistry, biology, medicine, whichever your domain is. By domain, I mean the subdomain within your domain. Yeah, apply on computer science within chemistry's application. No. So, for example, I have put all the positions that I have searched or I have found out by myself or by through the group. I have listed them under this application position. Some of them I'm just giving an example. Which computer science is ज़्यादा पाई इसलिए ज़्यादा हमने पाई के थोड़ा बहुत पाई इसलिए हक लिखित तक मुतलिक. For example, that's the position आज बात होता है domain formal methods. आज बात होता है domain computer vision. आज बात होता है domain machine learning. आज बात होता है domain क्या? That's what I mean by domain. Similarly, you will have you will know your domain better. So you will add the domains over here. Time pat wuchu tu kat country man ye position available. ठीक है? And I'm pat wuchu tu aapka deadline है. So you will list when you are looking for a position. So when you will go through the link, so you will put that link over here. You will add the deadlines over here. ये कार तांच में जमा करनी application. ठीक है? Requirement क्या क्या चाहिए application है? ठीक है? I'll just write one. So there is this PhD position in some. So there is some brief description. ML for medicine search. Okay, med search. Domain to machine learning plus medicine, something like this. ठीक है? Country to XYZ. ठीक है? Deadline to at bah 2020. ठीक है? Then you will list requirements. Requirements. It's important that you put requirements in a bullet point so that you can tick it later on. Agar print out new ya kya new, so you will check it out whether you have fulfilled that requirement. For example, CV chuluk mutimo, daim chuluk mutimo, I'm pata mark sheet chuluk mutimo, ठीक है? Transcripts, okay. So you understand what I mean. Recommendation letter, TOEFL scores. So whatever these requirements are, you will list these requirements. By listing these requirements, it doesn't mean that you have everything available with you. You are just filling the sheet. Okay. Then you have the submission channel. You should online, online site, submit karun, ठीक है? You should be submission. You mention. You should email karun yeah, you should mail like snail mail, like print out time pat sozun. ठीक है? Yeah, you should LinkedIn through LinkedIn easy channel, yeah, easy apply LinkedIn. So the channel will be where how you have to apply. Okay. Then there is the relevant link. Your main source link catch. By main source link I mean, for example, say 4 months link paste when you will not put the link of our Kashmir Guidance group which link yeah, Facebook which link you will go directly to the root originally posted applications so that if you have to refer back to it, you could refer back to it. Contact it's good idea that you will put the contact details here as well. Okay, contact detail phone, email, so on and so forth. Now once you have done this for This is like an example for one particular position. So similarly, you will fill it for all the positions that you have searched, or the position has been pushed to you. मैं वो गॉडनेथी push mechanism to pull mechanism. तो push mechanism से आपके पास अब आई है notification for open vacancy, or pull mechanism से you will list them here. Once you have, that means this sheet will keep on growing and shrinking. As you will keep applying, you will remove the items that you have applied for, and you will put it on a different sheet. So this is applied sheet. Bottom aspect kolo mein byak sheet to aise wuchmut atto mein now applied. Okay, so you will name that applied. For some reason I cannot type it right now. So first sheet is applications open vacancy. Second sheet you will keep as applied. So आपके पास ये भी track रहेगा कि आपने किस किस position पे apply किया हुआ है और कौन कौन सी positions अभी ये applied है. So this first sheet will keep on growing and shrinking. The reason it will shrink is you will move the positions that you have missed the deadline for. उनको आप move करोगे, उनको भी आप track रखोगे कि आपने miss deadline किया हुआ है, ठीक है? आप उनको भी second sheet में move करोगे. You could write that miss the deadline. For example, this is the position I have applied for. I will move it from this sheet and I will put it here. Okay. Or I could add one more column called status. I will say applied. Okay. Why? Similarly, there is another position. You could write missed deadline. Okay, for some other position. Why is this important? Maybe you have not heard back from the owners of this original process. That means those who have to hire. उन्होंने आपको reply back नहीं किया है. So you could go back and kind of write an email to them like, hey, like a month has gone by, we have not received any feedback about this application, so on and so forth. तो वो आप कर सकते हो. So this way you can keep track of which positions you have applied. दूसरी चीज, it's known and well known in sciences, the processes that you cannot measure, you cannot improve. जिन processes को आप measure नहीं कर सकते, उनको आप improve नहीं कर सकते हो. अदरवाइज अगर आप उनको इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश करोगे, वो खाली आपकी ओपिनियन की बेस पे होगा, किसी मेजरमेंट और साइंटिफिक मेथड के बेस पे नहीं होगा. So if you have like the second sheet is of the applications that you have missed or applied, आप देख रहे हो कि आप काफी डेडलाइन मिस कर रहे हो, that means you are being lazy. If you have seen that you have applied for a lot of vacancies and the result is rejected, for example, ठीक है, result भी है, result is rejected, though that means you have to change something. Maybe your CV is not up to the mark, maybe your recommendation is not up to the mark, तो वो आप उसको उसी तरह improve करोगे, ठीक है. So this is what I mean by the process. So this process you should follow, and you could, this is like my process, you could improve it. This is not hard and fast. You could use this process like a template, and you can create your own process और आप इसको improve कर सकते हो. Now we'll continue. You have to also remember the seasonality. जैसे आपको पता है, for example, कश्मीर यूनिवर्सिटी में साल भर ही एडमिशंस ओपन नहीं होते हैं, मास्टर्स हो या पीएचडी होता, there is a season. So you have to consider seasonality. कि आप अभी, and that means if you have missed that season, you have missed that chance in that particular country, you will have to wait for next year. So you have to be aware of what the seasonality is for that particular country. Second thing is, when you are submitting an application or writing to your potential supervisor, consider it is like a single chance. आपके पास एक ही चांस है. So make best of it, make it shine. अपने प्रोसेस को आप क्लियर रखो और कम्युनिकेशन क्लियर रखो, और उसके गाइडलाइंस मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया. We'll share the link and this particular document later on, जिसमें आपको बताया गया होगा कि एटिकेट्स क्या क्या है ईमेल लिखने के लिए. Okay. Now I will briefly go through these few points before I will start with Q&A. As promised, we'll keep this session brief. Okay. So what is masters and PhD, and why do you want to do it? So importantly, particularly bus chus kashir me pai kashiran hus mentality kya chu ya
Nokri.
agar sumo in kas sari chu sumo pat laga. So you should be clear, you should have a clear motivation, why do you want to do it, okay? So your motivation should be very clear. Me kya ishu masters karun, me kya university mas job. If your motivations are different, you may succeed, but that success will not last long. So if you are very much motivated, then definitely Allah bhi aapki madad inshallah karega. So be clear why you want to apply for masters or PhD, or why do you want to do it. Maybe you want to contribute to research, maybe you want a status. वो आप अपने आपके पास वो clear रखो आप क्यों कर रहे हो. Because whether you are aware of it or not, I can particularly, as I say, I have very minimum knowledge about computer science. मेरे पास थोड़ी बहुत computer science की knowledge है. The biggest dropout rate of in Europe of any particular program is that of computer science. Only 10% that get admitted graduate. I am talking about research. Okay. I know many cases personally. Bazana kashir te wariya. I will not name. Shakil knows probably two of them. ठीक है? 4-5 kashir zanak ba yemo research karmu se tamam zanak ba z. Okay. And okay, why do I get this line here? Okay, they dropped out because they could not fulfill the obligations towards the research. So be clear, why do you want to apply? Admission gasun chunu bin kiya, admission go time pachu karan tikum. It's totally different ball game. Second thing is where to apply and make a list of places you want to apply. I showed you a process of that. मैंने आपको इसलिए Excel sheet पे process भी दिखाया. Third thing is what are the deadlines for submitting applications? Most often क्या होता है, आपको link मिलती है, आपके जहन में होता है, आप भूल जाते हो, फिर आपको याद आता है. इसीलिए मैंने आपको process Excel sheet का भी दिखाया. So you could always visit that Excel sheet. So this is all about the process. रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है एप्लीकेशन की, ये अभी आपको कंसिडरेशन में होना चाहिए कि क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है एप्लीकेशंस की. ठीक है. व्हाट आर द चैनल्स दैट यू कुड अप्लाई थ्रू, ईमेल, ऑनलाइन, ये भी आप नोट करके रखो. ये नहीं कि 11th आवर पे आप जाओगे देखने के लिए, अच्छा ये ईमेल भेजनी है, अच्छा मेरे पास अब ईमेल का टेम्पलेट नहीं है, ईमेल अगर भेजनी है तो मैं थोड़ी ये लिखूंगा. मेरे पास आती है ईमेल, उसमें लिखा होता है प्लीज फाइंड अटैच माय सीवी. मुझे उस सीवी का अचार डालना है, तो यू हैव टू राइट फ्यू लाइंस. डेडलाइन उधर से करीब होती है तो आप एप्लीकेशन मटेरियल आपका सारा रेडी होता है, बट यू डोंट हैव ईमेल रेडी. एंड इन अ हरी व्हाट यू डू इज you slap few lines, please find attach my CV and all for this application, and you are basically minimizing your chance. जो मैंने आपको शुरू में ही point बताया कि आपके पास single chance है, avail that chance to the fullest basically. Okay. Now important guidelines and general guide. Apply to as many positions as possible. These positions are published internationally. You are not the only one. लाल फूल की apply करन. दुनिया में काफी सारे हमसे बेहतर हैं. ठीक है. There are many countries which you may think of. तुमन छन पाई के. I had this biased opinion until recently. मैं Egypt वोल क्या बकवास परनावा की है. इम सीरिया वोल क्या बकवास परनावा की है. वो आशा ना बनोमुत तेल कम से कम जहाज ही आशा बनोमुत. I was really kind of surprised, and I had to kind of bite the bullet and change my opinion about that. I got to meet very few people, but they were really very awesome. So you are not the only one. The point that I am trying to bring forth is you are not the only one who is applying. So make yourself shine. What you are doing basically is marketing yourself. आप अपनी CV के थ्रू अपने आप को मार्केट कर रहे हैं. उसके हवाले से हमने पहले ही बात कर चुके हैं. There, as I mentioned, some countries require specific tests. For example, Australia apply कर रहे हो, UK apply कर रहे हो, Canada apply कर रहे हो, US apply कर रहे हो. They may ask for GRE, TOEFL, IELTS. So be aware of that as well. साल में there are very few opportunities that you have for applying for GRE. GRE का भी material आपके पास group में available है, वो prepare कर सकते हो. So keep like the buffer. अगर आपको GRE requirement है और आपको उसी country में जाना है, उसी lab में जाना है या उन्हीं group of labs में आपने target किया हुआ है, so be sure that before you kind of go for the application process, आप पहला step पूरा करो, ठीक है? So the first step there would be that of fulfilling the application requirement, which being the GRE and the requirements there, TOEFL. So for applying for TOEFL and GRE, there are these, you could do the online versions, I guess, these days now. Back in the day, it used to be paper and pen. And then there were specific test centers. Agar tu Kashmir chu, then you have to think about travel and all, if you have to go to a specific test center. If it's available online, you can apply online. Then you have to keep consideration of internet cha available, na cha available. So keep all these things under consideration.
Can I add, sir, one thing?
Yes.
Yet where issue the mocha cat yet where issue GRE the
Yes, I have that point in mind. So luckily or unluckily, because of this COVID situation, GRE and TOEFL and these tests have been waived. So if you're applying for US, this is like a golden ticket basically. But the downside of that is you're not just the only one. There will be many. Okay. Apply to every scholarship and fellowship you are eligible for. Keyword is eligible for. Okay. There are different scholarships and like Fulbright scholarships, International Islamic Development Bank scholarships. So we'll compile a link of recurring scholarships. मतलब scholarships which are independent of institutions, वो भी आप कर सकते हो. So hopefully we'll compile that list. So there is a list that I have that is compiled, like DAD की scholarship है. So I will compile that list later on. I will just compile this later on. Like this is document under preparation. So we'll share this later on. So apply it as many scholarships as possible. Then once you have done it and you are following this sheet that I showed you, I think you are good to go. Now, before you apply, if you have you have to sort your applications by earliest deadline first. Okay, so if you are maintaining a sheet, more often what will happen is you would have added some application और उसकी deadline करीब है, वो bottom पे है और आप top वाली चीजों को देख रहे हो. So sort your application sheet always by earliest deadline first. That means आपने उसको इस sheet को इस तरह sort किया हुआ है कि जो आप जिस application की deadline करीब है वो आप top पे रखोगे, ठीक है? अगर आपके पास 4-5 एप्लीकेशंस हैं जिनकी diametrically opposite requirements हैं submission की, और then you have to choose और उन सबकी deadline करीब है. For example, you have 4 applications. You have this on this sheet you have like 10-15 applications. Out of those 10-15 applications, let's suppose 4-5 applications ऐसी हैं जो top पे हैं. Let's suppose these 4 जिनकी deadline let's suppose within a week है. Rather than apply और उनकी requirements अगर same है, good. CV हर एक को चाहिए, TOEFL score हर एक को चाहिए, जो requirement है हर एक की same है, then there is no problem at all, and you can apply to every position provided you have all requirements available with you. दूसरी चीज है, you would sometimes want to kind of rather than apply to every position, if the requirements are a bit different, आपके पास कोई ऐसी चीज है जिनकी different requirements है, so kind of prioritize within this group. आप इसमें से filter out कर लो which are the positions you are most suitable for, you have experience in, then concentrate on that one only. ये नहीं कि आप उसका भी chance खराब करोगे by maximizing your like application output. आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा application को apply करने के लिए उसको भी खराब कर लोगे. So keep those things under consideration. I think that's it from me. I will open the floor for any questions if you have any questions, and I will let Shakil Arbor be the moderator for those questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, I found few applications
Mhm.
where there's a requirement of research papers, research
Yes.
publications at the level of MTech.
Okay.
But most of the students don't have that kind of publications at that stage because we guys to take masters something lightly.
Okay. I will add.
So,
Yeah. Please go ahead. So far it's a
so
comment. You can complete it if you have like a question part to this comment.
is this necessary to have the publications in order to grab this scholarships for
Uh,
the universities?
I will tell you the mindset. Sometimes it's not a requirement as such, but it's like an indication. मैं आपको I will tell you why. What's the mindset behind it? The mindset behind it is अगर आप किसी को hire कर रहे हो, let's suppose you are hiring somebody and you are paying him. जिन भी positions पे आप usually apply करते हो यूरोप यूएस में, they pay you, for example, research fund या research grant, इस तरह की चीजें available है. ये तो आपका मोटिवेशन है आपको पोजीशन मिले, उनका मोटिवेशन है उनको अच्छा बंदा मिले, ठीक है. ये म्यूचुअली आप इस तरह आप उनके जहन से भी सोचें. So they would want somebody who is capable. If this is a research position, they would want somebody who has capability to do research. सबसे बेस्ट इंडिकेशन दो चीजें हैं. आपने किसी रिसर्च ग्रुप में काम किया हो किसी रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट पे, so you would have mentioned that on your CV. दूसरी इंडिकेशन है आपने कोई पब्लिकेशन की हुई है. दैट शोज टू देम दैट यू हैव एन एप्टीट्यूड टू राइट पेपर एंड यू मे, ये जरूरी नहीं कि आपने जबरदस्त सी कॉन्फ्रेंस में किया हो, आपने जबरदस्त से जर्नल में पब्लिश किया हो. अगर वो किया हुआ है तो वो आपके एडेड एडवांटेज प्लस पॉइंट है. But motivation for asking these papers is that they get an indication that you have the research aptitude and you know the scientific writing as well. Otherwise, if you don't have that, your chances get minimized if it's not a requirement, like must have requirement अगर ये नहीं है, your chances get minimized than somebody who has like मेरे पास 10 एप्लीकेशन आ गई, ये must have requirement मैंने नहीं रखी हुई है कि आपके पास रिसर्च पेपर है, and there is someone who has like published 4 or 5 papers in good conferences. मैं तो उसी को prefer करूंगा ना, because it tells me that he. Yes, please go ahead.
It's like my master's is going to complete in this June or July. This is my final semester.
Okay.
And on the basis of requirements, I just skip it this session, and I'm trying to apply for the March session.
Okay.
Because I'm working on a project and I'm trying to publish the paper on it.
Very good.
On that basis, I'm skipping this session. Is that right or wrong? Am I doing right or wrong?
It depends. दो चीजों पे डिपेंड करता है. अगर आपके जहन में खाली ये है कि नहीं रिसर्च पेपर एक मस्ट हैव रिक्वायरमेंट है and you know of the places that you have targeted and it is a requirement and it is like a selection criteria, then it's good that you have skipped session and you are kind of accumulating your research skills and papers. But if you don't have any target and it's not as such a mandatory requirement and not a lot of positions are putting it as a mandatory requirement, then what I would suggest is you keep 2 tracks. One track to kind of apply for the positions which don't mention it as a mandatory requirement. Another track wherein you kind of continue to research and like accumulate papers under your belt and apply it for the position later on that require it.
Okay,
Maybe
sir.
I can
Sir, my final question.
Maybe I can add to this before.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, the thing is, you talked about the papers. When I will give you my example. When I applied for the PhD, I didn't have any publication. So what matters is not the publication is obviously is a plus point, but what matters is your projects, your internships, and your skill set. If, for example, professor requires a student, he requires a student, he should have, for example, I will use skills. I will give you example if you are from computer science background. But for example, he requires skills, he should know PyTorch, he should have expertise in deep learning, and he should have done some, suppose it is a class project or it is a, the thesis project. If you have done those projects if you have done those projects, then I think you are good to apply for the position, and you will have a very good chances to get the scholarship.
Thank you, sir. So my last question, sir, engineering field के लिए which country is the best for PhD for engineering fields?
Depends. Again, depends. There are these pockets within the engineering itself. The engineering field research is being driven by industry and by the academia hand in hand. मैं आपको इसकी एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ, छोटी सी एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ. अब machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, where do you think is the hub right now?
Sir, I think Europe.
No. No.
USA.
No.
Dubai.
No.
Dubai.
Canada. Canada.
Okay.
Canada. Okay. Particularly Montreal University. ठीक है. हब जब आप कहते हब ये मैंने सही आंसर भी दिया और गलत आंसर भी दिया. ठीक है. My first task when I started my PhD, the first presentation at the end of the first week was find out all the key people in my field. I had already been selected for a particular position in a particular domain. Like I explained earlier what I mean by domain and the position. Today मैंने शुरू में ही आपको बताया what I mean by how I define domain and position. So at the end of the first, I had to find out all the people that are working in that particular domain and what their core expertise are. The idea of that was to kind of understand who are the key people I could be collaborating with. I should watch their research and all. They were not necessarily from one country. They were scattered all around the world. Research global context में connectivity काफी सारी है. So what you should do is गलत आंसर इस perspective में भी है. What you should do is you should find the key people कौन से हैं उस domain में. You could go find the like from the research profiles of Google Scholar and other such indices कि उस field में कौन से contribute करते हैं और वो किस institution में है. Yeah.
Okay,
Sir,
thank you.
जी.
Sir, actually, I want to ask you some questions. I am Irfan.
Please go ahead.
Hello. Sir, actually, मेरा ये question है कि sir मेरा अपना target है कि this year from this June to next June, I'm targeting the positions in Europe and USA. तो sir, actually 2016 में मेरा masters मैंने आपको परसों email भी किया था. तो right now sir, जैसा कि आपने बोला कि अगर आप कोई भी international application follow कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए कुछ tests होते हैं या publication और some as skills and some skills like internship or projects. ठीक है सर अभी हमारे पास मतलब मैं मान के चल रहा हूँ कि within 1 year I should get some position. तो उस टाइम के लिए meanwhile what आप क्या suggest करेंगे सर? Should we go for a publication or online ये internships or projects, or should I prepare for this GRE and TOEFL?
I would suggest two things. Publication is a byproduct of the research that you do. आपको ये नहीं ज़हन में ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि मुझे पब्लिश करना है. पब्लिश आप क्या करोगे? पहला क्वेश्चन ये है. You would publish a research result basically. ठीक है? You will publish a survey. That means you have gone through some papers, you have understood them, analyzed them. या तो आप survey करोगे or you have conducted some research. So that means first before you publish from the research perspective, that means you must have conducted some research to begin with जो आप publish करोगे. To conduct a research, you will be working in some research project. So it's good to start with with a research project and keep this in mind from the very beginning of that research project. The results of this research project I'll be publishing. Okay, तो ये एक है. दूसरी चीज मैंने आपको शुरू में ही कही, if you are targeting US, Canada, Australia, UK, such countries that require TOEFL, GRE, you should begin your preparations now. It takes good 2 to 3 months of preparations. GRE, TOEFL में आप pass fail तो नहीं होगे, बट ये होगा कि आपका स्कोर कम या ज्यादा आएगा. जितना ज्यादा स्कोर आएगा उतने आपके बेटर चांसेस है टू सिक्योर research funding or some scholarship and admission at good places. जितना स्कोर कम आएगा उतनी आप लो टियर यूनिवर्सिटीज में एडमिशन मिलेगा और रिसर्च फंडिंग के चांसेस भी कम मिलेंगे. ठीक है, तो ये आपको कंसिडरेशन में रखना चाहिए.
तो सर बेसिकली जो सर ये जो प्रोसेस होता है ना एडमिशन का प्रोसेस, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारा सीवी सिलेक्ट हो गया, हमने सीवी पे बोला कि जैसे आपने बोला कि यू हैव टू सेल योरसेल्फ, आपने बोला कि मेरे पास ये स्किल्स है, मेरे पास मैंने ये इस पे काम किया है, तो उसके बाद ये प्रोसेस होता है. इसके बाद एक इंटरव्यू फेज होता होगा ये फॉरेन एप्लीकेशंस के लिए, उसके बाद डायरेक्टली आपको कॉल आ जाता है या इंटरव्यू फेज होता है उसके बाद?
मेरा ज्यादा यूरोप के हवाले से है. इट्स नॉट इजी इन यूरोप. I don't know about US in easy. I will mention why. It takes some time phase. In Europe, the research positions, I'm not speaking about masters, I'm speaking about PhD positions. They are salaried positions. Okay? They are called, there's a special visa for that called scientific visa. European Union issues a scientific visa, and those positions are salaried positions and they are taxed. उसकी सैलरी आपको ये नहीं है कि आपको फुल फ्लैज सैलरी मिलेगी, अच्छी खासी सैलरी मिलेगी, आप अयाशी करोगे. दैट इज सफिशिएंट फॉर यू टू सर्वाइव. नाउ ये मैंने ये क्यों बात ये कही, the implications of that is the political implications and government level implications of that is, as and when you are selected, your lab and your institution and your administrative setup at your potential place of research, they have to prove it to their local government. Kashmir put local os tamam moodmut vanos Irfan sobu yot roodmut yus as an theek sha. So they have to prove this basically to the government. That means for them it becomes difficult and cumbersome. As such, they mostly prefer locals or European mobility mein. जब आपका प्रोफाइल काफी अच्छा होता है, that's why I mean what I mean by market. It should be irresistible for them that and interesting for them simultaneously कि वो आपको select करने, because it's like a hassle for them. दूसरी चीज, the government has to fund your research. Government is funding your research, so they have to kind of like account for it कि ये कहाँ जा रही है, क्या जा रही है. As such, you should create a strong profile. Strong profile is ये नहीं आप मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया पे सेटल नहीं करो. हमारे क्वेश्चन अक्सर आदत मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया क्या है, मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट मिनिमम फुलफिल क्या करा. सो ट्राई टू मेक योर प्रोफाइल एज स्ट्रांग एज पॉसिबल. अगर रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट भी है, पब्लिकेशन भी है, जीआरई भी है, टोफल भी है, आप सारी चीजों के ऊपर मेहनत कर रहे हो, तो आपका प्रोफाइल और स्ट्रांग हो रहा है और आपका जो एप्लीकेशन पूल है और डाइवर्स हो जाएगा. अगर आप जीआरई नहीं कंसिडर कर रहे हो, then your target countries become very like limited. Europe mostly. ठीक है. अगर आपके पास GRE जी, अगर आपके पास GRE TOEFL भी है, so you have a much bigger playground basically.
सर इसका करेक्ट मुझे ये समझ आया. वन लास्ट थिंग कि जो हम है, मतलब हम मोस्टली है कश्मीर यहाँ से इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटी से, मतलब इंडियन सेकंड क्लास यूनिवर्सिटी से, तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए जो हमने अब तक किया है, तो दैट इज व्हाट डिफाइंस अस. अब इसके बाद हमें क्या करना है, जितना हम मैक्सिमम कर पाए, चाहे जीआरई हो, टॉफल हो, कोई पब्लिकेशन हो, डजंट मीन कि हमें कोई टॉप क्लास जर्नल टारगेट करना है. अगर हमने कुछ भी किया है, कोई कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, दैट मींस कि वी आर एबल टू राइट समथिंग इन साइंटिफिक टर्म्स. और ये ऑनलाइन ये अपने स्किल्स को ज्यादा से ज्यादा हमें शार्पन करना चाहिए, सो दैट वी कैन डू सम प्रोजेक्ट्स. तो उस हर किसी चीज पे हमें, फिर हर किसी डायरेक्शन पे हमें अपने आप को मतलब अप टू द मार्क बनाना है.
च वनित अख कथ यात पे मैं थोड़ा सा शरारत को, ठीक है. सेकंड टियर यूनिवर्सिटी छा, थर्ड टियर यूनिवर्सिटी छा. Please excuse my language. Please do excuse my language, and I pardon for using this language. Nobody outside India gives shit about which university you are from. They don't know Kashmir University. They don't know 4.0 GPA क्या गो. तिमन का छिपाई बिचारिस. एल से कौन से फ्रांस में, जर्मनी में, तमिस क्या छिपाई कश्मीर यूनिवर्सिटी टॉप टियर NAC रेटिंग A+ क्या गई, वो क्या गई, ये क्या गई. They don't know. they don't know. Temi chan pai kya to Kashmir University mas nabukare mahal Dawood Saban parnomut ya top level Arif Saban parnomut. They don't know who Arif Sab is and who Dawood Sab is. But what they know is, so you shouldn't be kind of dejected in that sense. So second tier university mayusi chu kufur, theek hai? You what should speak is your capabilities, theek hai? What should speak is like are all your capabilities. Chan capability kya kya chh? Chan capability gasan chan research profile wanin चा सा projectस पे काम करमत जो शी pat kamis च so projectस पे काम करमस, that is secondary. They don't mind कि ची lab मज काम करमस इशा top tier lab या second tier lab. मैंने पहले ही आपको कहा they are punting on you, they are betting on you by hiring you. So what they are really interested in is whether you have those skills or not. अब आपके पास added advantage इसलिए ये बनता है, they know nature, they know science, they know transactions, they know ACM, they know Springer. So if you have published in those, they can relate to that. They cannot relate to Kashmir University. So you should not kind of demotivate yourself कि मैं Kashmir University पे करूँ या कोई university पे करूँ. आवाज समझ?
You sir, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
one more thing I want to add, there is there is a good option, good chance. If you do, for suppose masters in the Europe, it is highly likely that you will get selected for PhD without any doubt.
Yes, very true, very true. Usually
Because
usually जो foreign students
Dawood sir, Dawood sir,
जनाब
one thing मतलब मेरे दिमाग में ये क्यों आया? I would like to clear you because basically you had been my teacher indirectly, I can say. So sir, because when you joined the university, I was in the main campus and you joined in the north campus. जैसे शकील साहब ने कहा है, my brother who did his B.Tech in IIT Srinagar. तो masters उन्होंने किया Germany से, and he got a fully funded position in computer science in University of Amsterdam. I too applied for that position. So, but kind of they rejected me. I don't know why. So, in that terms, इसलिए मैंने कहा कि maybe university is a factor for that. But thank you that you cleared us that it's not like that they know Kashmir University or IIT or something like that. For them, Indian universities are Indian universities.
Yes, ये मैंने आपको ऐवी नहीं बताया because there was once a selection happening in my lab where I was working. So my supervisor came and there was a selection committee. They came. They showed me few of the CVs. उन्होंने बताया ये हमें समझ नहीं आता ये आपका सिस्टम क्या है. ये बताओ ये अच्छा है या ये अच्छा है. ठीक है. So I know it personally that they have difficulty in understanding. This has not happened once. This has happened many times with me. काफी दफा अच्छा ये CV है ये CV है. So they don't know. They don't know system. Their system is a bit different. Next.
does anyone have any other question?
Sir, I was having a question regarding the choice of the universities. For example, if a student is that a common student faces nowadays, if a student is getting more than one scholarship from different universities, and same time he is getting the opportunity from the higher institution of the Indian institute, like IITs or NITs. So, what will be better at that stage? Should he accept the scholarship from abroad, or he should do the same in India in some higher institution?
In my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I may be totally wrong. There may be like best research happening in IITs or NITs. I'm not stereotyping any of the institutions, but many institutions, my mindset kosher agar banhal talent apar tor ichu kosher put tor foreign territory mas. I'm not speaking politically, I'm speaking like physically. Ichu kosher sun mindset bus wan agar am use mehnat kori tor talent apari kya tarne yuta apor ke amis pe 5-8 gantan hans flight nin theek sha. Number 1 number 2 importantly urdu pach se kahavat kuएं ka mendak theek sha. And there is another concept in English called inbreeding. So in a system which is stagnant, there is a lot of inbreeding of ideas. There is no new idea. ठीक है? और दुनिया आइडियाज से चलती है, आइडियाज जब आते हैं नॉलेज आइडियाज से आगे बढ़ती है. When you go to a place which has very much of a diversity, so agar Indian university mas gachiyo to kuch population mile foreign student hans, simple question, बहुत कम. In comparison agar aap kisi foreign university में जाओगे, ठीक है, Shakil can vouch for it and all those who have been at any international university, they can vouch for it. आपको diaspora मिलेगा दुनिया के हर एक कोने से. So there is this germination of ideas happening. आपको different culture सीखने को मिलता है, different languages understand करने को मिलता है, different research aptitudes understand करने को मौका मिलता है. So that's in itself an advantage. दुनिया उठने को मौका मिले.
Okay, so that means abroad is much exposure than in India.
Yes.
सर और मैं यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ऐड करना चाहता हूँ. मेरा थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है मतलब इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटीज में. सर यस सर बिकॉज आई हैव बीन अ स्कॉलर इन सम टाइम इन जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया, दैट्स अ सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी. नॉट से in NITs, central universities, except some IITs, research is the last preference for them. मतलब सबसे लास्ट प्रेफरेंस उनके पास सर रिसर्च होती है, बिकॉज दे काइंड ऑफ मिक्स ऑल द थिंग्स.
बिल्कुल,
दे काइंड ऑफ मिक्स ऑल द थिंग्स. मतलब सर वो क्या,
मैं आपको इसमें बिल्कुल आपकी बात दुरुस्त है. आई विल गिव यू अ टेक्निकल एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस. I don't know how many of you are aware about the for example career advancement scheme of UGC and all. If you see the criteria for, yes, if you see the criteria for progress within your own position, that's like a laughing stock. Okay, so research is the last criteria, and teachers have been fighting tooth and nail कि relax करो, अब ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है.
Sir, you cannot say, sir,
whether I subscribe to that.
Let him finish.
Please go ahead.
Sir,
let Dawood finish first.
Whether I subscribe to that or not, that is secondary. Personally, I think it should be a bit different. I had in my postdoc, I had a supervisor. Okay. He could not supervise a PhD scholar, and he had to take a PhD scholar under joint supervision. I did not understand the system back then, and I asked him, what's this all about? He had a doctorate. He had been working for like 7 or 8 years. You can consider him at the associate professor level. Okay?
Habituation.
Yes, habituation. So this is what he had to do to get that's called method conf or habituation. In Europe particularly, he had to defend another thesis. उसने उन 7 सालों में क्या research किया है, उसने क्या किया है, and like it was like a full-fledged committee, like a full-fledged affair for one particular day. उसमें उसने तमाम publications बताई, इस domain में इसने क्या क्या काम किया है. जिस तरह PhD की committee बैठती है, फिर उसने उनके सामने वो अपने habituation उसको फिर then they made him method conf. Madhukamp बनाने के बाद then he could take PhD scholars like under independent supervision. जब आपका ये इस तरह से थोड़ा सा सिस्टम की भी कमियां हैं, but there is no lack of talent. I'm very much sure about that.
Yes, sir.
So besides that, I found one thing. I've worked on a project in NIT Srinagar for about 1 year. I found it the professors here, their story is totally different. Sir, sorry to say that, but I found materialism in them to somehow.
I second you, Shakil.
Then the research.
बिल्कुल मैं बहक न वनित कि I
Sir,
cannot maybe वो माचो system ताचना system ज़्यादा गोमुत वो माचो system ज़्यादा गोमुत I don't know about that.
Sir,
no sir, I am talking particularly about India.
Sir, last thing I will say, मतलब Indian universities में sir अगर आपके पास funding भी है, अगर आपको अपनी funding है, since I will say my case, I have my funding, I can get 40,000 per month, sir, but I have earned that scholarship. लेकिन still, sir, आपको 6-7 महीने के बाद आपकी अपनी scholarship मिलेगी. That is why मैं sir ये कह रहा हूँ कि for them research is the last preference. Sir, उनके पास students है, masters है, sir, वो not I'm not talking of Kashmir University, outside universities की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ.
I think the discussion is going away from the main topic,
Yes.
so we will stick to the last question. If you have any question, otherwise we will conclude the session because this should be focused only on the domain we have talked about.
I haven't had much fun.
And one more thing, last point I want to add: the easiest way to apply is in Europe. In Europe, usually you have to just simply email the CV and the transcripts to the professor. And then after that, he will conduct you interview, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. And I think in US it is a bit hard to apply because you have to apply all the stuff. But in Europe, it is most usually you have to attach the CV, a good email, and the transcripts. That's all you need to apply. And now we will take the last question. If you have any question, otherwise we will conclude the session.
No, sir. Thank you for the both.
Thank you very much.
And I thank you all of you for joining the session. Assalamu alaikum. We will conclude the session.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Assalamu alaikum.